Today we're going to make a template of this back door, and you can see that I've put painter's paper up here, and then I'm using a tape, a quick release tape, an easy release tape, 3M. This is 3M Edge Lock. I'm going to use a method that I saw on Humble Road. Shout out to Humble Road. He's another custom van builder, but he uses a tick stick. So I'm going to use this tick stick to go around the edges here, precisely mark all of the places where, you know, the foam panel insulation should end. So let's see how this works. That about does it. Hopefully what you can see is, you see all the little red lines. Each red line has a tick on it, and they go all the way around the door, and then I use the crayon to mark the window. Then so what you do on this tick stick here is you push it against the area that where you actually want. Here, let's do one over here where we can actually see. So back there's the rubber gasket, and I want the insulation to go all the way to the rubber. And so you just draw a line so you can line up the tick stick, and then you see the tick on the stick. So when we transfer this, we're actually going to be transferring the point area. So you can see the point is all the way pushed up. So that's the outside of the template. Let's go make the real template. As you can see, I've transferred the template onto a 1-inch piece of, I see, polyiso. I don't know why I keep wanting to say it the wrong way, but and that's one of the reasons why I use this. It's called a safe release. So it's for painting where you have like a wood finish. It doesn't hold well at all. But one of the nice things about it is you can actually get the tape off without tearing stuff up. So I recommend that. So with the template on the foam board, we take the tick stick, we line it up with the marks, both in line with the line, and then the tick actually has to be in line. And then you just take a Sharpie or pen and you mark that spot. So we'll go around the whole edge of this and mark all of the ends, and then do a little cutting. I've done a lot of dot connecting, as you can see. You follow this up, there it is, comes back up, top of the door. But then the next thing that came to be a problem, well, a opportunity, was the fact that this window, you see the window is the purple crayon line, and it is like a ½ inch from the edge of the door. So this is going to be problematic from a structural standpoint. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the actual window in 1.5 inches from the edge of the door. And then I thought to myself, well, probably it's going to be a little bit difficult to upholster all these corners. So if I did a little more of a straight cut, it might be a bit easier. And then I thought about the pillow that goes on here. So we bought these pillows that will be the window cover, and they're about 3 inches tall. And so when you take them down, where do you put them? And so on the bottom, I purposely kind of left about a 3-inch pocket here. We're going to be able to store these window covers down in there later on. You know, if we take them down, have some place to put them. I thought I'd just roll this out just so you can see it. They have a cute little logo too. thisvanlife.net. But this is one of the this is their winterized product, so it's you know, thicker. It's got a thicker bat in it. And then it's got magnets, so when you start to fold it, it just sticks together. I'll share one more thing. I have two different knives. I have one thick utility knife. I find that this one's a lot easier to trace the straight lines and keep it exactly in line. These are, these pieces are going to be visible. They're aesthetic, so you want those lines to be straight. But around the corners, you want a thinner knife, like this one. These are pretty cheap. They're probably like $1.50 at Home Depot or Lowe's. So, just a little tip. Let's see how we did. I think our crayon was off, just looking at it. So you can see the pocket depth. Here was supposed to be 3 inches. Clearly, that will never do. The rest of it's okay. Not sure how that got off, but the rest of it fits really well. I think it's acceptable. There's a little bit of a problem back here with the door. It's a little too fat. So I think if I modify this panel, do some lines on it, second panel should be good. This is the area that cut a little too much off. Did some Googling. Turns out I can take another piece of foam, stick it in there, get some Gorilla Glue. Voila. We'll see if it works. Hopefully it will. I would hate to have to use a whole nother panel. Gave it a nice coat. I have this Rockler tool for glue. It's primarily silicone on the end, and glue, like even if you use these brushes, the glue can't stick to it and it just breaks right off. Very nice tool. I recommend it. It's going to take some time, so next project. I have about 4 hours into this panel making, and I think I'm pretty close. You can see they're not perfect. I think they'll do the job. On the second door, on the left door, it's pretty close to the first door. It's not exactly the same, and the way the doors close and everything, you can kind of see some differences. You can see this bottom section's a little bigger, this bump out. And of course we got the handle on this side. Almost done. I think they came out pretty good. I'm going to fill in these gaps down here. Those are actually raised sections of the van, and I'm going to use 1/2 inch there and just probably just glue them into place. For the fasteners, I went with riv nuts behind these bolts, but I left the panels in behind here. They're fully insulated. Behind the panel they're insulated, and then I'm going to drill into the panel and secure them. But I'm pretty happy with the way these came out. We still have to do the sliding door, but I think these were sufficiently difficult that we cut our teeth on these pretty good. Anyway, very happy. Doing the sliding door now, and what I did was cut a instead of doing the tick stick, this one was a simple pattern, just a rectangle, and then up on the corners I just made a little template that did the corner pieces, and cut out for that bumper. Pretty easy. As you can see now, it's up there. It's good. Sorry, I'm a one-man show here. If it's jerky camera time. The bottom piece, I'm going to attempt to do the same. I got a rectangle of approximately 39 by 53 across, and I'm just going to template the areas, those corners there, where there's, you know, some irregularity. Maybe this whole side needs to be templated. Cut it out, see how it goes. It's ugly, but it works. Slam the sucker right in the door. No tape required. As you know from other videos or working on a van yourself, there are no right angles. Well, maybe there's a few. But the Sprinter van's pretty swoopy, and plumb is hard to achieve. What I found was this line here seems to be 32 inches from the bottom there, from this stoop. And so what I did was I translated that line on here. So that's 32 inches. And then on the templates I mark that line, which is, you can see in dark, the darker crayon line. And that helps me do my alignment. So that on these pieces where there really aren't any, there's not much, I mean, there's not much way to reference. Now you have a reference line, which is what you need. Anyway, cut the sucker out. Be done. So initially we thought we'd just put the panels over these wood press board panels, screw them into this, and then because they're not structural, they're just lightweight insulation, that would be fine. And so I did the top here, which you can see. But what I'm finding is that press board is just garbage. Like, you can very easily, it pulls away very easily. And so I think I have a solution for this. I'm going to use a drywall anchor. Installed drywall. And that worked pretty well. And you can tell they got a little bite to them now because it's slightly, you know, you drill these in and it's just insulation behind there, so you can kind of see it start to suck in because it's got a little grip to it. So I don't think that's coming off or loosening. I'm pretty happy with that, so I'm going to attach the bottom the same way. I also wanted to point out I used a 1/2 inch on the sliding door, and the main reason for this was I knew that I would have some pretty close interference with this rubber if I followed, you know, the door edge. And you can see that it works, but it's real tight. It rubs a little bit, not too bad though. I'm pretty happy with it when it comes in. It has a little bit of a rub, but not bad. Boom. Anyway, just showing you that 1/2 inch on the sliding doors for that reason. All done. Top and bottom. I still have a little, when I put in the Thinsulate window coverings, they're going to be up to this edge. So we still have a little bit of metal, but the surface area has been reduced significantly, so I'm happy with that. And I also, here, let me just pause this. I also finished the back doors. Those came out fairly well. Put in the little pieces down here, pretty easy to do, because I had the cutouts from the big panel. I just used them as a template. Yeah, so next I'm moving on to these panels, so stay tuned.